welcome to the fourth ever episode of Inside the Box. I am Chris Ferrante. To my right this time,
I am Vitor, the stat guy, De Silva.
And I am Chris Corto.
What's your middle name?
Paul.
Paul.
Yeah, I'm the real Chris Paul.
We got a Paul here.
I'm the real Chris Paul.
We got a Paul in the crowd.
better
Like Carlton.
than Logan and Jake.
Do not
We got
mention.
Chris right here. But yes, and today Chris will be over my shoulder with info. We're trying to keep him in the shot as much as we can and all of that. But by the time you guys see this video, the third episode will be out. Apologies for the delay on that once again. Hopefully it'll be worth the while for your waiting and all
Chris
of that.
is very hard on himself. Please don't type really angry things in the comments directed towards
Can you
Chris.
please send a care package to Chris Ferrante?
Please give me $200.
What was that? 200.
I got my... I don't know.
Yeah, you set the care package up for me and then it all goes to you because I messed up the...
You don't want
but-
that somewhere.
Not to start off on a solemn note, but figured it'd be wise to start off the episode with this, with the passing of, for those of you who may know, there was a 19-year-old in the KHL who has just for the SKA team. Don't know how to pronounce his name fully correctly, but Timur Vice-Sutinov. He was 19 years old, hadn't turned 20 yet. He took a puck to the side of the head in a simple dump and chase, which happens dozens of times every game, and freak accident, and he was in the hospital for a few days with not the best conditions or technology to work to help him. And the doctors did what they could to keep him alive and stuff, and unfortunately he succumbed to his injuries with, they believe it to be speculation, so don't want to rumor it too much, but people are thinking it's something along the lines of like an artery that was burst, as well as maybe even like a fractured temple or something. Is that if you guys know more info on that, definitely hop on this right now too. But we just wanted to give our condolences and our thoughts and prayers to those who were his family and cared for him, for Timur as well, and especially for the player who did this simple dump and chase. I can't even imagine how it feels to be that player, like doing a simple play and just knowing that like what came off your stick ended up being a fatal injury to the player that it was against. It's very freak accident. It's tough, but every once in a while it can happen in the sport. It is a fast-paced, dangerous sport, and it's just sad to hear it. I mean, your guys' thoughts on unpacking all of that?
I mean, I don't watch a lot of hockey outside the NHL, including the AHL or the Canadian hockey, the juniors, but it's definitely something that people, it's nothing that is purposeful, and it's a scary thing, and you gotta only like imagine how the fellow teammates, they're probably around the same age of just being, younger, and it's terrifying no matter how old you are, playing a sport that you love. And it's not even a sport at that point when you're playing at that level. It's literally your life, your passion, and people don't see it otherwise as it's not work, it's life for them. So my feelings, my thoughts, the family.
Yeah, I mean, same here, It's just like a routine play. If you see, I don't want to be morbid. I mean, I saw the video. I don't know if you guys saw the video of it.
I did as well, yeah.
But like Chris said, very routine play, like happens all the time. It's just that this instance, he happened to catch a puck to the head in a very bad spot, just like that, like 1 in a million chance, I guess. And it kind of raises a question. I wonder if, I didn't remember seeing like what he was wearing for a helmet or anything, or what happened, like specifically, like when the puck hit him, but maybe like it brings the question, like what should we be considering for equipment? Maybe hockey should go, because I mean we've seen in the past, like in the 70s and whatever, no one wore helmets. Now everyone wears a helmet. Maybe it's like it brings in the question, maybe a little more protection for the head, maybe a redesign of the helmet is in order or something. I don't know. But anything to try to avoid instances like this where freak accidents can happen. And like Vitor, my thoughts and condolences also go out to the family. It's terrible. I don't know if this will ever reach them, but the whole community is kind of reeling from something like that because it could happen to anyone. So,
right, with how like you were just saying, the whole community is like reeling with it because the hockey community itself is just very like tight knit. Even if it's just like people from different parts of the world, it's just they're all like bonded by that one sport that they all love and stuff. And so definitely, yeah, it's something that everyone like rallies behind or also like suffers behind and stuff. But yeah, like you were saying about the whole how do we handle the equipment and things. I think he was wearing just like your generic like the visor, like the half visor, like a lot of players do. At least that's what I've seen in a lot of the memoriam photos. Otherwise, it could have been maybe different this one game. But like oftentimes we've seen even in the NHL, like some players, like one that comes to mind, not targeting him in any way, but this one player I notice a lot when I look at the visor is Leo Komarov, where his is just so high up, it's like practically not even like protecting his nose or anything.
Well, some players just forego the visor and
completely.
But
for those who like wear it. And stuff, then that,
well, you have the Ben brothers who just don't even wear it at all to the point where
and Chara,
to the point where their mom got them visors for Christmas last year.
I didn't know that. That's hysterical.
Yeah,
actually.
it's actually really funny.
I think not to interject, but I think this brings in a safe. Not even just what your physical helmet is, but the accessories that you put on it. I think that within 10, 20 years, you will see a mandatory wearing of full-on shields for your face. And this is like how college hockey wears it. Got a full cage.
Yeah.
Like the fish bubble, quote unquote, right?
With the fish bubble, yeah. You can either have...
I was going to say, it'd probably be like, you could probably have a preferential option, like go with like a hybrid or go with the cage or something.
And with the technology that's coming out, I know that a bunch of players can wear a mask that I think Chara wore one when he got his jaw fractured. He had like kind of like a half, something going on.
Yeah, it kind of looked like plastic webbing and then the longer shield in front.
Yeah, something too, because again, the pucks are going at 90, obviously different speeds, and speed increases off of deflections too.
Yeah.
It just makes it much more, less predictable and much more terrifying and dangerous. So,
and the shape of the puck alters everything. It's not round. It's a
literally
cylindrical kind of shape.
And I think it's the best way to prevent injuries even more. Because again, the focus with like sports like football and hockey is like because these are two of the most leading sports that cause CTE and concussions, and we don't want to see that happen because we know the long term impacts it has on people's development, their behaviors abnormally with depression and rates of suicide, just due to the fact that what happens with CTE is. It's a degenerative disease that happens over time with chronic damage to the head. And I think sports should do better. And I know we like to do like cancel culture here with me, but I think it's a very scary thing because I know I don't want to talk about it, but I don't want my kids playing football or hockey as amazing as it is and how intense and how inclusive it is and bringing people together. I don't think it's something that I would want my kids playing. Just it's terrifying, and I can't see that happening. But if you want to talk about that as well, I know we're on a very grim start to this Tuesday too.
I mean, we could talk as much as we want, like on this if we want to, and stuff. And it's just, I think something that's just going to develop over time. So I think even if we like kind of delve into it anymore, it's just kind of a wait and see thing. So,
well, I mean, you see how the NFL is handling all their helmet issues and everything. Like they went very in depth as soon as like all the studies with CTE and everything were coming out. Like it was very taken very seriously by the NFL, which is another sport which is very, very physical.
And it took a lot of time for them to finally recognize it too.
And I feel like hockey, with how dangerous it is and how many elements could be affected by you hear that too, right?
Yeah, it's a little staticky.
Yeah. with like the fast pace, the involving of like shooting a puck instead of just throwing hits in general too, like that element. I feel like there's like a lot of things that could end up going wrong, and I feel like maybe there should be an equipment overhaul, and maybe, like Vitor said, should be eventually we'll see a mandate of like cages and everything. But yeah, I feel like maybe an event like this could trigger like NHL player safety, because we've talked about players getting hit too and getting severely injured, like Brandon Carlo with the Tom Wilson incident, and it's just something you see a lot, unfortunately. So maybe NHL player safety can start looking into doing something about that, and other leagues around the world like the KHL and anything else could start looking into stuff like that. But
yeah, and I know, sorry to ramble on, but I know the NHL has done I've been seeing over the last 10 years a great movement towards that player safety. I know we hear a lot on broadcasting that players go to you have a spotter on the bench or have a spotter somewhere in the arena checking symptoms, and you can clearly tell when someone's been rocked in the head by the way they skate, kind of wobbly, slower than usual. And another thing I've noticed is when players, pass the puck from, trying to get the puck out, casual, just, exit out the zone, players will avoid the hit. Forecheckers will more likely than not finish their check on the player, whether it's for saving time and energy or just because they've been conditioned to not hit the players. And I think it's a good action by players who choose not to finish that check when there really is no need to. And I think I'm excited to see what happens next.
Well, how many years ago was it that they changed the rules about icing too?
Not that long ago.
And that was the biggest.
That was like what, 2015 or 16? I feel.
I'm the stat guy, so
yeah, check that.
That was a huge issue because guys were going down trying to prevent an icing and getting rocked. So
one of the most obvious instances was Bergeron's infamous thing where his neck was broken in his nose and he had a massive concussion. Like this was back, I think, 2007.
Yeah.
And people thought he was never going to play again and stuff. And obviously, fortunately for him, he turned around and on top of that, has had an amazing career on top of it. But yeah, it's definitely. Do we have the year stat, man?
2013, 2014 season they changed.
They started that year. Okay, I thought it was the year after. Interesting. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, with the changes like that and like new kind of rules and new things, hopefully, like all of it starts to change and like we see more things progressing and going further with that. And not the best of segues, but speaking of like things changing and like kind of like things like progressing in certain ways, the NHL has been trying over the past few years, especially to like kind of aggressively grow the sport and stuff. Hasn't always worked out to their way, but with recent news, I think it just became final after we recorded our last show. That's why we didn't touch upon it, is the NHL's new 7-year deal with ESPN. And that's just it's first time in a while that it's been back because hockey used to be connected to that ESPN and stuff. A lot of the glory days with like the 80s with Gretzky and then like Lemieux and stuff too. And then we can just like kind of like go off on that.
Edison, we need an ESPN audio that's copyright friendly.
The Sports Center theme.
Yeah.
Do.
Well, hey, don't say that too loud. Don't want to get copyright strike. Oh shoot! Come on.
We're good. Fair use, right? Fair use act.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you seen that the Steve? We talked about this before, but there's a Stephen A. clip of him on his own show.
Oh yeah.
On SportsCenter
going nuts about hockey.
That was hilarious, and I think even him admitting that he doesn't know anything about hockey just puts people in the perspective of like, well, hell, I don't even know anything about hockey, but if Stephen A's talking about it.
Well, how much do you think he got paid to go out there and give that? Because you've seen Stephen A. when he's on with Max Kellerman, and they're talking about either basketball or baseball or football.
The Dallas Cowboys.
And how serious he can be sometimes. And then you see him go on his own show, and he's just he's like going nuts about hockey, and it's really lighthearted. I'm like, that guy got a check to start talking about hockey.
He got ESPN. That stimmy.
He definitely got that stimmy. That however many mil stimmy he's going to get from his network.
But I just can't wait to see all the top games going on the ESPN Plus or ESPN Deportes.
I think it said like I forget the exact number, but something like 25 national games will be exclusively on ABC and ESPN and stuff. And so that's definitely, especially with Seattle coming into the league too, we're gonna have like a lot of like new kind of prime time or just like matchups that like could start new rivalries or something. Especially with the divisions this year, we've started to see new rivalries, and depending on how the rest of this season goes and feedback, the league may stay with these divisions even after next year. I've heard rumors that a lot of people think funding and financially it makes sense to keep the Canadian division for like the fans and stuff to kind of like pour in and like loving those rivalries again. Like I think it's cool. I know it's tough for some of the West Coast like Vancouver teams to get all the way over to Ottawa certain times for like certain things, but if they keep it in like the baseball schedule structure, it's definitely gonna be interesting and stuff from there. But do you want to keep talking about ESPN, or we want to talk about how this kind of new division standing structure has been affecting the Bruins lately? Do we want to hop into that?
I want to. I have a question.
For who?
Just in general, what do you guys think? Because I know that the league has kind of been looking down more on fighting recently. Do you think that fighting still holds a place in hockey and it's still important? Or do you think that as rules change, it's going to start being phased out more and more?
For me, I mean, I think the most recent example of how it like kind of still, even if the fans don't like it or like certain like things, it still affects the players. I mean, most recent exhibit, at least from my viewing, was that Bruins Caps game. Tenori had that fight. It brought all the morale and momentum towards the Bees, and they capitalized on it. Granted, yeah, it's just like there is all the jokes. It's like you've seen tweets of these people like starting to watch hockey or whatever, and it's like, yo, these guys can fight, and it's just they literally get 5 minutes for it, where like all the other leagues suspend their players, and so yeah, there's a lot of people who still love it, and a lot of people who still hate it. Like, yeah, maybe people don't like love violence, and I had like Vitor and I had a sports sociology class where we literally just talked about this stuff like for like classes on end. But I mean, it's just. Yeah, for me, it's just like if it dies out on its own, it dies out on its own. But like I think if players like still want to like keep doing what they want to do, like in that sense, if they both like mutually agree to fight each other and stuff, like, and granted now to get the fight with helmets on, there was just a fight recently where someone, I forget who, it might have even been like a Lightning and Red Wings game, someone against the Red Wings, they like drilled a player and the player was going down, but then he grabbed him by the collar and kept his head from hitting the ice. So like the players. They're back to kind of being like chummy, like the next like shift and stuff. It's just they know the place. It's not like they literally want to. It's not as much that they want to literally kill the guy. It's just kind of this like, yeah, we know what we got to do here. We kind of got to like pump up the team, and they try
everyone's
and keep
allowed
each other
one
safe.
hit. Everyone's allowed one punch,
right? So
and you're like, I go.
Yeah, and so for me, it's just like, yeah, if it dies out on its own, sure. But like, I think if you, especially if you're trying to grow the game. If you cut it out right now and like, be like, oh, no more like fighting, you're gonna lose a lot of like the crowd you already have and stuff. And so, like, I'm fine with it staying because like it does a lot to the fans and the players. So like I'm happy with it staying by all means.
Yeah, and I think especially I know that when the discussion of growing the game, we can't talk about this without talking about ethnic minority groups. Of the Black community, Latino community, Hispanic, and I think what we're seeing now is the promotion of women's hockey a lot, and that's going to a completely different sex, and that's really great on the NHL, and I just want to see, because you're going to be on the ESPN, and I know a lot of comments are referring to like, I only like the hockey because of fighting. I'm like, and ESPN's job is to be like, great. We can provide that and more.
Yeah.
Oh, so, wait, there's more.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the fighting is a. Sorry to cut you off. You were going.
No, go.
I feel like what fighting is it's a good gateway. Like a lot of people will be like,
it's a gateway drug.
Yeah, essentially, gateway drug to hockey. Hockey fights, I feel like, draw in the crowd of like, because I just feel like in most people. Like, that's the reason why, like, boxing and everything else, like combat sports are very popular, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that draws, like, an allure, kind of, like, the kind of going to battle and everything between two people. And I feel like that aspect of hockey is very, very appealing to, a majority of, like, crowds and everything.
Who aren't who really aren't aware of how
how
the
hockey
game.
like they don't see the skill, they don't see like what goes into it, like the high speed plays, everything like that. But I feel like that's what gets people in sometimes. And then as they start like watching the game, they see that there's like all this other stuff to it. Like there's this like you get a guy who can fight like your Ryan Reeves or your Tom Wilsons or your Tenortis, and then you get guys who are like you're never gonna see fight. Like your Bergerons. Well, yeah, Krejci too, but your Bergerons and your Crosbys and stuff like that, unless they're pissed off.
And going off of that, too, just to interject really quickly,
yeah.
Even when those guys fight, that really gets the crowd involved. Like, Krejci last year was against Jamie Benn, was his first fight in, 8 years?
Yeah.
And, as much as, Bergeron doesn't fight, he's had a few in a span of, 3 fights in a span from 2011 till now. But it's just when those guys get involved and, your star players, like you said, the guys who don't fight, it's then the crowd's really yo, did you see this last night? It's
nice to see Marchand too. He's kind of your combination of a goon and your skill player because
I love him.
Oh yeah, it's great seeing. I remember what was it, last year or 2 years ago? We played the Caps in the first game after
it was the first game of last season.
Yeah, and we got blown out. But I remember Marchand fought. Who was it?
It was Lars Eller.
Oh yeah, Lars Eller, and.
Lars Eller's mocked the bench. That's what it was.
Yeah, Lars Eller's about a half foot taller than Marchand, and Marchand wrung him out like a wet towel. Gave him the work.
That wop.
He did not give him that wop.
Shoot.
Oh no.
But no, yeah. So I feel like it's a very exciting thing. I'd be sad to see it go for sure. But yeah, I feel like it's an important part of hockey.
And speaking of important parts of hockey, for certain teams, a lot of teams rally behind fighting or speed or other parts of the game and stuff. And with the Bruins right now, as we've seen in the last few games, we had a 4-0 win a couple nights ago, but we've been struggling as of late. I think we were 5-6-2 in our last 13 or whatever.
Yeah.
And so do we need more of those gritty guys on the team? Do we need more we've already talked about it, but yes, we need more middle six and bottom nine offensive production consistently, and maybe even D pairing. So I know Vitor, you wanted to talk a lot about this. So over the Bruins kind of span in the last few days. So it's just we can we don't have to get into detail with every single game. We can kind of summarize, but where do we want to unpack?
Stats guy, I got a crazy stat for you to pull up.
Okay, I got it. Let me pull up the NHL from. Let me.
Can you pull up the goals for the Bruins top line versus the other three lines for this year?
Oof.
I think I saw what stat you're talking about. It's roughly 43% or 50-50 pretty much.
It's pretty. You'll see when you pull it up. It's a pretty good stat.
Or even more, actually.
Well, not pretty good. It's pretty. It's almost alarming.
Yeah.
The
it makes you feel Wario sad. Look at that. Zoom in on that.
So I'm going to be going on Elite Prospects, and I'm going to be. Oh, that's career. That's career stats. Let's see.
I don't know where you'd be able to find that specifically, but I know that I saw it somewhere.
It was
I can do
on some Instagram page.
I can do a quick comparison. So in total, Pasta, Bergeron, and Marchand. Bergeron and Marchand have played all 26 games.
Yep.
Pasternak played 19. So combined goals, we have 34 total goals between the three of them. And I'm just looking at forwards right now.
Yep.
Richie has. Do you want to get a calculator going?
Sure.
Just so.
Okay, Richie has 8. You said.
Richie has 8.
Yep.
Krejci has 1.
Yep.
Smith 4.
Yep.
I'm just gonna list the numbers. 5. 2. 2.
I think it's 35 total.
3. 2. 1 and 1. Those are rough numbers.
There's 2 more ones, Stanika and Bjork. There's 4 ones total that I saw.
Yeah, that's. I think I just.
I think it's rough. I think I counted 35. I think combined.
I'm up to 29 without including Studnicka and Bjork, according to Chris. I don't know.
Let me see.
Regardless, if your top line has the majority of your goals,
if you have to count how much, then there's an issue.
Yeah, you need to work out some issues. Like Cassidy's trying, like we've been talking about. We talked last time about maybe pickups for the Bruins, who we should be getting, and I remember, I think I was on the side of getting some depth scoring going, and I still have not really changed my mind about that.
Right. Because you and I talked about like, I think it was the end of the past episode, which is still being edited. Well, at this point in time, when you see this one, it'll be done. But we talked about Nashville a lot, but then like depth scoring and stuff. Yeah. Yeah,
and I don't know at this point. Because I feel like we have a pretty good, we have a pretty stacked, roster. I like Craig Smith as a player. I like the fact that he gets shots on goal because that's always really good. If he's not scoring, then, I mean, he's getting the puck, he's getting rebounds out there at least, or offensive zone possessions.
He's working hard in the offensive zone.
Yeah,
and I think what we need to think, though, I think a struggle for the Bruins as of late has been getting the puck out of the defensive zone.
Yeah,
and that
definitely a problem last night.
That can be seen from the lack of your regulars on the back end. I know Miller was doing a great job of that. Really, it really wasn't an issue of. I think we still are on the lower end of shots allowed, but as of late, I just see Halak or I just see Rask just fending off every shot, and as of right now, I can't even.
You've seen Rask? Where is he?
Before.
No, I know.
So going off what you're just saying there, we had talked about, I was thinking, well, with a team like Nashville that's potentially going to, sell a house almost, it's do you do a double deal where you're looking at maybe, go all in with Ekholm to bolster that defense and then bring in a guy like Arvidsson for, middle six? That's what I kind of talked about with Chris, last time, but I just saw a post from Fansided earlier today, actually. Someone talked about, hey, Red Wings are terrible right now. They're trying to build for the future. Bruins have certain needs that the Red Wings can answer, and they were essentially proposing some sort of deal of giving up Anders Bjork, Jared Tenorti, and a second-round pick to get Bobby Ryan and Mark Stahl. Whereas you could have Bobby Ryan, who has had a great turnaround season after all his off-ice struggles, which it's happy to I'm happy for him that he's back. But obviously he was always a Bruins killer in the past, especially with Ottawa in the regular season and playoffs. But and then Mark Stahl fell out of favor a little bit with New York. He was often a scapegoat of the fans as to why the team was struggling, which I felt bad about because
they do this to every.
He was
every
loyal.
person.
He was their third. I think he was one of their longest tenured. I think the only guy left now in the 2014 finalist roster is Kreider. And I think before that it was Stahl and Kreider.
Well, can't wait for them to go to the Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Oh, they're forwards. My bad. They're not defensemen, so they won't go.
But But anyway, they had McDonough. Don't remember the massive trade. God.
It's gonna go. It's always rough. I feel when you play for New York, you're gonna see with who is the kid? Alexis Lafreniere.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble remembering him because he hasn't really made an impact, and I feel.
Can we get a bomb?
Can we get a air horn, please?
Yeah.
No, but I feel like it's just tough being a New York team. I feel like Kakko hasn't gotten enough, hasn't gotten it as bad. I don't know why, but because he was.
Said it's a nice city.
Yeah. Well, he was number 2 overall though, and I feel like he hasn't done anything too either. So
right,
but sorry to get sidetracked.
Yeah, no, but what you were just saying about hard to play in New York. Let's talk about their most prized player right now back on the ice, Artemi Panarin. He made a factor right off the bat coming back.
Can we get snaps in the mic real quick?
I do one-hand claps. I'm a anomaly.
Anomaly?
Phenomena.
Monopoly?
Anyway,
Capo Caco has 4 points in 20 games.
And then Panarin now being back, what's he at?
Panarin, what Panarin's stat is?
Yeah.
Bread.
The bread. I just typed in bread. NAK still came up as
Brandon, call
Artemi.
my man.
Just bread.
Artemi's at 22 points in 16 games played with a +2. He probably leads the team in plus minus. Can't forget about Chris Kreider though.
No, dude. So I keep usually saying fantasy instead of expansion, but this time I am talking about fantasy. I had him but dropped him because he had a rough start to the season. He had like a couple goals, but then kind of faded out. I'm like, oh man, New York's not going to be playing well. It's a shame. I was kind of hoping, as much as they're a rival to us, I like when original six teams are playing well because it means that like those big markets are succeeding, and I kind of like playing them in the playoffs to rekindle those old rivalries and stuff. But now that Kreider like had a hat trick against us in that blowout game, and then has been playing well against a lot of teams since. It's like, I think he's got like 13, 14 goals now.
Kreider?
Yeah, I can look that one up.
He has 14 gols.
14, yeah, and so turnaround. He's kind of like had a surge, and I think now that Panarin's back to and Mika Zibanejad's finally starting to pick up a little bit more steam, getting a couple more goals in the last like week and a half. They could be. People thought they were going to be sellers, like initially because of their stint, but like depending on how things go and how other teams potentially like the Bruins keep slumping, I wouldn't be surprised if they hold on to their players that they've been linked to potentially like trade out. Whereas teams like Nashville and Detroit are a little different and stuff, but it's going to be definitely interesting in the sense of seeing where the Bruins as a team right now end up and stuff. And obviously we're less than a month now from the trade deadline and stuff. And so
who do you think Vitor, can you pull up stat guy, can you pull up our UFAs or not UFAs, I'm sorry.
UFAs
Or yeah, pending UFAs or no, that's more an end of the season thing. My bad.
For the Bruins?
No, I meant like in general in the NHL.
So 2021.
Yeah, which I don't know why I'm asking because we want to make a move now. I feel instead of
but we can look right now.
But it depends on who might be a rental or not too. Taylor Hall is one.
Oh, that's also true. Pending UFAs, but what I was thinking more is like who is on like the. I wonder if there's a way to look up who is on the trade block for each team.
I don't know about each team, but
I'm on a site called Spot Rack.
Yeah,
and I have UFAs right now or 2021 NHL free agents after the season. Looking at some goalies right now. Philip Grubauer, 29 years old. He's going to be a free agent after this season. Don't imagine him going anywhere else.
Yeah, I feel like Colorado would lock him up.
Oh, yeah.
I do have TSN's trade bait list if you want to go off
that would be nice. That would be nice.
Like
these are all goalies.
The one at the top, the one at the top that we've talked a lot about is Matthias Ekholm, just because I have that still open. But in my other thing, I just saw on Yahoo Sports, someone I think it was Elliot Friedman who was kind of speculating that his return could be something similar to what we saw with the Jake Muzzin deal to send him to Toronto, which was like a couple picks and like a first-round draft pick. A couple prospects, like some like kind of minor league players or in and out of the lineup players, and then a first-round pick. And so you could potentially see the same type of thing for Ekholm, like almost. I can't really compare those two because they are different, but like thinking about like teams that have had experience like winning or like close to cups, stuff like that. Muzzin has a little bit of the edge because of like it being a cup winner twice, and also like always being on that top line. And obviously, Ekholm isn't playing the top side. It's Yossi, but now that Yossi's injured, Ekholm his price might even skyrocket more now that he's getting more ice time and showing himself off more.
If he can show off,
right? And then so. David Savard, the defenseman of Columbus, the right-hand shot, he's rumored to potentially be one.
Yep.
And then they have some guys like kind of like Rising and Stalker going down, but I'll go through the rest of the let's say.
Alex Ovechkin's a UFA after this season.
The top, and he's speculated apparently to like make another 4-year signing they're talking about, which is crazy, Brady-esque. But I'll go through the top 10.
Tied Esposito yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, you did. I can pull that up later, like the close stat, but the top 10 here, it's for them. It's Ekholm, David Savard, Ricard Raquel, Taylor Hall, Nick Foligno at 5, Mikhail Granlund, Nashville center at 6, Eric Stahl of Buffalo at 7, who said he'd be willing to go to a contender, Brandon Montour, right-handed D-man of Buffalo, Bobby Ryan of Detroit at 9, and then apparently they put Jake DeBrusk at 10 for trade candidates or trade bait. Again, that's TSN, so it might vary on other sites too, but...
See, I feel like going after teams like Detroit, like and looking at players like Bobby Ryan might be helpful. Because I feel like, well, he signed with Detroit. I think the Bruins were in the running to try to sign him too. I remember that. But I feel like going after someone like him, going after, like I said, depth scoring, calling the depth scoring guy.
And I think his contract's only like $1 million roughly for this year alone.
Yeah.
So he's not that high of a cap hit to worry about either. I keep sliding back and forth so Chris can see Vitor. I'm somehow always in his like line of sight.
I'm looking at the free agents for that we can potentially sign. Tanner Pearson's one. And a big name, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Oh, really?
His 2021 cap hit is $6 million, but obviously he can sign for however much he wants. He has 23 points in 31 games, but I don't know if he's skating along either Draisaitl or McDavid. I know he's listed as a center, but
I think he's like their second line center.
They flip flop so much though. Like they'll literally have a guy who's supposed to be a center at center one game, and then next game he's like a winger.
Well, Draisaitl's a natural center, isn't he?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. And then they move him out to like what, left wing, right wing? I don't remember.
And then like last year he was like center a lot, and then he wasn't. It was just. But apparently
must be nice, huh?
Nugent Hopkins' stock has been rising, so I think he might try and because. That's actually a player I
Former
really feel bad
first-round
for
pick Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
He's been there the longest out of any of those Oilers players. Like Hall was the one prior to him, and then he got traded. And I still think the Bruins in free agency, if Hall doesn't re-sign or get traded, do a trade and sign, he might take a discount to come to us and things. But because it's like Nugent-Hopkins, if he's a center, then you got to think about what's the deal with Krejci. Are we going to drop him now and bring in this younger guy?
Yeah,
who could be worth more money to sign? Whereas we could kind of use Krejci in the transitioning years a little bit longer to grow a player like Studnicka and Coyle to fill those second and third line roles.
So Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' salary since coming into the league has been $6 million straight.
Really?
Since like even today he's getting paid $6 million.
How do you work out getting $6 million out the bat?
What was his? Oh, why am I asking you? I'm the stat guy.
I can pull it up if you have the other thing up.
I'm the stat guy.
Put a clown on Chris for asking to pull up the
Can you get a
stats.
dun 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 dun? Right?
He's had a solid career, like for like being on such a
For an
bad
Oilers
team for
player,
so long.
yeah.
Considering what he's had to work with prior to McDavid too.
Nail Yakubov.
Like he had.
Oh,
They had Hall and Eberle too, but like let's not forget about Eberle's trading like, to the Islanders.
If we can make an all Oilers team for the past decade, it would be stacked.
and then it would all fall apart somehow.
Yeah, someone would get hurt.
Yeah, don't forget that they had Justin Schultz and Jeff Petrie and traded both.
Wait, they had Jeff Petrie?
Montreal traded for him.
What?
Yeah, he was an Oiler.
For like his entire career.
He was an Oiler for his entire career before Montreal got him.
Don't forget about the best Oiler,
Yeah, and then
ever.
Justin Schultz ended up shining in Pittsburgh. But yeah, who?
Milan Lucic.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that blows my mind.
Let me pull up that trade because I want to see what that one was.
If we want to talk about a laughing stock of a franchise, it's the Oilers.
Well, I mean, they also traded Gretzky, so
yes, like talk about a team that has the most potential in NHL history, and just just
out the window.
year after year.
Petrie's already been in Montreal for 6 years.
See.
I feel old.
Yeah,
this was 6 years as of December 2020.
It's like almost.
Yeah.
It's almost like with like people who are getting into hockey would never know that Tyler Seguin
Was a Bruin.
was a Bruin. Yeah, and won a cup his very first year.
Oh, I remember.
I remember.
I remember. We always remember.
But yeah, it's like all that stuff's really weird. Like thinking about where like certain players who have like weird to think that Chara was anywhere before the Bruins, even though he was like by the time he went to the Caps, he was 43. So he was on two teams before the Bruins in the New York Islanders and Ottawa Senators, which is like another crazy thing to me to even think about.
Let me see if I have it. You want to see a wild photo if I have it on my phone?
Yes.
Sure, let's see it.
I gotta find it. Hang on.
Chris, can you pull up that photo?
Well, he's the photo guy.
Can we get that photo?
He's not only the guitar guy, but
The music guy.
he's the music guy and the photo guy.
Chris, can you compose a song for the intro?
Can we get it?
I did the intro. Music.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah. I did that. So.
I was going to say, you would have been caught lacking if you didn't.
Yeah, no, of course. Here's the photo. Look at this. This is Daniel Chara with flow and bloodied.
Yeah, that's a crazy image.
Like,
That's cursed.
Oh, my
It's
God.
cursed image.
like when he
That's
had.
grunge.
This is coming from, I don't know which site. It's Barstool Sports, go figure. So, perfect. I mean, this when he had hair and wearing number 53 rookie with the. That's actually a weird jersey now looking at it. That's like the fisherman design, but with the logo.
Oh,
That's kind of cool now that I look at it.
I'd rock that.
Can we talk about the most disappointing jerseys to come out of the reverse retro thing?
Don't say it.
I'm gonna. I have a few things to say about that. But
The
we'll
ones
talk
that
hear
about
were
that later.
practice.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of my least favorites that like has like grown over the more I thought about it was the Islanders, because they had like so many options for what they could have picked for their jersey. And their jersey just really ended up like being the same, but like what, a darker shade of blue, like purplish kind of.
Like the navy blue, like they used to wear in
Yeah.
the late '90s, early 2000s.
Which certain other ones, like I just didn't like visually. I didn't feel like the style worked. Like the Stars one, I feel like it's just too much white and silver.
It's not even a change at all.
You see what I'm talking about, right?
You had the opportunity.
You could have brought the fisherman.
Yeah, or just done something different and cool. The squeaky was that you or?
May I take your order?
But like, if we're talking about like the most disappointing one, we all know it's Detroit's one. Like, I feel bad for that team.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
It's just
They had potential, and I think I've showed you guys what I thought of for what they could have done. The silver gray could have worked if they had done it with this jersey. Like,
Yeah,
if they
or-
had done
What
gray
are they
stripes with the red word Detroit.
Or they could have done the
That
D.
would have been cool if
Or-
I like
do
the
gray.
D on the jersey.
Yeah,
That's a
or
really
the-
good
or
one.
the-
how about the silver
that
stripes?
with gray.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
A red D or something.
No, red with a gray stripe going across.
Oh, okay.
Because
How
it's a
about
reverse retro. don't
Changing the
forget.
color of the so you have your reverse retro, right, for the Detroit.
Yep.
You change the wing to be silver, but you have the red as the background to contrast against the gray.
I feel like you could have done a lot more than what they did with it.
Or you could have at least made the tire silver and then kept the wing red, since it's in the
And have the
name.
wing overriding the tire.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm at my free time, I'll go on Photoshop and I'll work something out.
Vitor will remake all of the reverse retro jerseys in his own image.
And then
Literally.
they should have done like something like making the wings without the wheels on the shoulders or on the helmet, so it's like Hermes or whatever kind of thing.
I like their Bruins reverse retros, but I was kind of rooting for the Pooh Bear, not going to lie.
Nah, me, I wasn't.
The meth
but
bear.
The meth bear lives.
Um,
I like the simplisticness of like the common like normal Bruins B now is nice, but I kind of like the blocky without having like the diagonal kind of cuts right there.
Yeah.
You know.
I kind of want a Bruins jersey that incorporates a bear more as the main logo
They
now.
should bring this logo back for the main jersey. Remember the old third jersey?
Or
Yeah,
just,
I used to have a Tim Thomas one.
yeah.
Yeah, you used to wear that all the time.
I feel like you could do that, or you could just maybe
Make
not-
a new design.
just a new design,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Not
think
to
one-
not to be blasphemous or anything.
I think one that features like what Boston is about, because when I see the B, it's just like, okay, like To be
a bear climbing into the audience and fighting the audience members
with a shoe.
No, yeah, I feel like the Bruins jersey could use an update with like more of a bear, you know.
Right. Do you think anytime soon they'll go back to a throwback jersey with brown again, with the brown and yellow?
Oh no.
Because do you guys like know the origins of why the Bruins have those colors?
Wasn't it like a store that sponsored them?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
something?
The owner, the original founder and owner. Here's a little trivia for all you people.
O'Reilly?
The original
Auto parts.
The original founder and owner of the Bruins was a grocery store owner in Boston, and his store. He had a couple of different stores, I think, not just one, maybe one or two actually. But his colors to his grocery store, like what do you call those things like above the windows that look like half of a tent that just hang over?
Chris used to work at a grocery store. Can we give it up for Chris, who knows about groceries?
Essential worker for like all of almost a year.
Yeah. No, but you don't talk about like those little like.
You should just follow your vaccine like still.
Yeah. Nah, we're not getting those anytime soon.
What's the word for that thing I'm trying to think of? The thing
Tapestry?
No, it's like it. It looks like the tent material, but it overhangs a window on the outside.
Edison, can we get whatever Chris was talking about?
Anyway.
No, I think I know what you're talking about. It's like you know what? Never mind. I'm stupid. I forget.
Anyway, whatever it is, like probably that's what they designed it. But the original colors of that owner's grocery store were brown and yellow, or brown and gold, and so he made the team those colors to kind of sponsor his grocery store and stuff. And then eventually they switched.
Is it an awning?
Black
is
and
that
gold.
what I'm thinking?
I
of?
think that yeah. You know what? Maybe that is the. Yeah, Google ain't helping me at all. That's nice. It's sending me photos of a tent over a car. That's not what I'm looking for.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's that. But I'm with you. I think it'd be kind of cool to see like a different style Bruins thing. And do you think more teams should do what Dallas did a few years back with like the black jerseys they had with the numbers on the front with the word Dallas, and just do like kind of like the numbers on the front again? Like the Bruins in the 50s had like that football look with just the numbers.
I'm not. I think that
Do the logo on the shoulders.
I'm a big proponent of just the numbers on the sleeves and the back. I feel like that having the logo on the front is a very, very hockey thing.
Right.
You know, that's always something I liked. So I feel like I wouldn't change up like. I feel like I'd change up logos, just not like the positioning of the numbers and stuff so much. You know.
Right.
How much longer does Adidas have a deal with the NHL to like make the jerseys still?
Edison, can we get that in the design?
Stat guy, can we check that out real quick? Will you?
If he's looking at something, I'll pull it up.
Well, he's playing Minesweeper on his computer there.
It's a very stimulating game.
He's playing Town of Salem over there.
I'm playing Among Us.
All right, so it was
Same
7
difference.
years. It was 7 years as of the 2017-18 season. So was that either the 23-24 or 24-25 season one?
Yeah, so we still have 4 more years of Adidas jerseys.
Yeah, thank God.
At least.
I love them. I love the Adidas jerseys.
I was when they first came out, I was kind of like bummed about like the collars and stuff because, in my opinion, I mean I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like every single team's jersey should have the laces on the front.
Yeah.
That's just like a kind of cool little touch because like the original hockey jerseys wore sweaters. That's why that nickname sticks around and stuff. So like they don't need them. I just think it's kind of a cool thing. Especially I think the original 6 teams at least should have them.
Yeah, I feel like most of them do though.
I think it's just Chicago and Detroit that don't.
Well, to be fair, the Detroit jerseys have all just been kind of like forgotten. I mean, they're just like, all right, make it red, put like a red stripe like across once.
I think a lot of it has to do with keeping with the original 6 look and everything, and I'm like, forget about the original 6. Let's keep.
Well,
let's make a new design.
You could save the logo, like the Bruins' third jerseys, like we were talking about. That you had, like the Tim Thomas one. They had the spoke B, but it was on the shoulders. Like there's secondary logos. It's an option. You can always like keep that there on the shoulders.
That's the thing. Is there? If you don't count throwback jerseys, and I'd say the exception of Pittsburgh's gold, which is the logo without the triangle and without the, without the triangle behind the skating penguin, is there really that many secondary logos left in the NHL anymore? I think all you have is maybe just the one that comes to mind right now is the Hurricanes with like their logo, but then the flag. Like,
Well,
That's a nice jersey.
technically, any jersey with like a kind of
Yeah.
with the shoulder pads
yeah.
is like a
Sorry, I
secondary
meant,
secondary logo.
I meant like a secondary logo that is like used
yeah.
on a different jersey. Like that's what
Like-
I meant.
Well, the Bruins have that. Would you really call the Bruins' third jerseys like a secondary? Because it's essentially the same thing, but without the spoke.
I think the fact that we have 4 jerseys that we're using and they're all solid, I really like that B.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I have pasta. That's one of my favorites. Oh,
Sorry, I'm trying to throw gang signs.
Edison, cut this out. Cut it out.
Shoot, no.
we can't even see it. Like, what is that? Oh man. But yeah, no, I think we'll see what happens with the whole Bruins jerseys because obviously they are keeping to that tradition and stuff too.
I'd like to see the Islanders make more use of the fishermen. I'm a big fan of the fishermen.
Big component.
Big proponent of the fishermen.
One team that I really think I would actually surprisingly like a little bit more, just because they're an up-and-coming team, but I think, in my opinion, they literally went from one of the best-looking logos of all time to one of the worst-looking of all time was when Hartford came to Carolina with the Hurricanes logo. I think the current aways they have where it says Canes diagonally, if you kind of take a design like that where it says like Carolina diagonally or Hurricanes or Canes diagonally on the home jersey, but the difference is make it a black jersey with white words with red trim. I think that would be a nice, like, kind of clean-looking jersey, and maybe even update or change what the Hurricanes logo is right now, and kind of just like, to me, it doesn't look good. Like in my
Their third jersey right now. What are you talking about?
No, so like look at their away jersey, like where it says Canes diagonally, right?
Okay. Hurricanes.
Like the white for all, it's like the white, like the road jersey with where it says Canes diagonally on the front.
I'm like capitalizing all these texts. Okay, yep.
Yeah, so
okay.
if they do for the home jersey that design, but then they change the main home color to black with white words with red trim around it.
Instead of the black trim on the red letters.
Right.
Ooh.
And, yeah, instead of black trim on white letters with a red jersey. I think that they do need to do like that to kind of differentiate themselves from the Red Wings and the Blackhawks in that sense. Because
I'm more of a fan of the jerseys they wore like during the playoffs,
the
like last year. The
flag,
blacks with
right?
the hockey
That's
stick
the
with the
third
flag.
jerseys, yeah.
I love that's my favorite.
I love. This doesn't get talked to a lot about in jersey designs, but usually the stripes on the bottom of the jersey.
Oh no, those are.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Those are.
They need to bring that back with like the third jersey, and then the one change I would do, maybe doesn't that jersey? I'm like blanking right now. Doesn't that jersey have like gray in it? That third jersey, it's like black, gray, and red.
The Hurricanes' third jersey.
Yeah. I would do a
believe.
color scheme of like black, red, and white with that. Get rid of the gray.
You can't go wrong
and then
with-
put that nice design on the bottom on it.
I genuinely
sweet.
believe that there are like certain jersey colors you cannot go wrong with, and it is black, white, and red, white, and blue, like a dark blue. Like usually go really well together if you put them on a jersey. Like Jets Heritage Classic, one of my favorite jerseys. Blackhawks jersey, usually a really sharp jersey.
Clean. I even think blue, green, and white kind of work, like the Canucks colors.
Yeah.
If
I feel like it
used right.
depends on what kind of blue you use, though.
It's usually like navy blue.
Yeah.
Usually.
I have a picture of an old
Let me try and
Carolina
share my screen with you.
jersey.
Okay, should be allowed now.
Let's
And we'll probably wrap it up in a few. We're approaching the hour mark.
Yeah.
I know we were trying to cut this one.
I think these are the ones that you're talking about. They're Reebok.
That's
so
the Reebok. So it's a little
those are
different now.
nice. Except I'd have a little more red at the bottom, I think.
And
Right
I would
here.
make the gray white.
No, I'd have the gray be red, I think.
I think another thing.
And then, so it's all red?
I wouldn't have the red stripe underneath. I'd have the
white
gray
stripe,
be red,
Okay.
and I'd have that at the bottom, like how they have with the jerseys right now.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Vitor? I'd replace the gray on the sleeves with white, probably.
I get the concept of having the gray. Right, you see what my clicker?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
The gray and the gray right here instead of like, because when I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, you got a red top and then gray on the bottom, and on the bottom you're like, oh, you have gray and red. But
Yeah.
I guess it's like you want to keep it continuous. But I have no issues with the jerseys. I like the Eye of the Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a really cool logo.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I like it a lot better than the Hurricane design. That's the one.
Let's look right here.
So that, where it's gray on top, I would actually make the shoulders right here red and then white trim. And then maybe just do white trim around the big red parts. And then just have like that, like the square design, the Eye of the Storm in the middle. So it's like white trim around the red stripes and then just make the white trim here and then the shoulders red. I think that would be insane.
I like how it's not a circle, though. I like how it's just literally... It's unique.
I was thinking about that the other day. There is a lot of jerseys that are just circles.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. Why don't we get a triangle?
Yeah.
Like Colorado's.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's easier for Colorado because they have the A.
Yeah.
So it's hard to put an A into a circle.
Jeez, I kind of want to buy one of those Colorado, the Hurricanes jerseys. Now that I'm looking
They
at
have the North Carolina flag on the patch.
The Nordiques
cool
was Calgary has what does Calgary have? They have like a flag. I think it's like
they used to, and now it's like the old
Yeah.
the old jerseys now. But yeah, I think it was probably like the Alberta flag,
probably, yeah,
and then the Canadian flag.
yeah, which I thought was like a little cool touch.
Yeah, definitely.
What was I gonna say though? I lost my train of thought.
Hurricanes, Colorado, circle jerseys.
Shit. Yeah, I mean, I remembered. The Nordiques jerseys are like kind of a breath of fresh air, you know?
Yes.
Like, they're really nice. I like the colors. Like, maroon is another color that I just feel like could use a little bit more use.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really, like, the maroon with, like, the light blue just, I feel like, goes really good with those jerseys.
Yeah, and speaking of ones that are kind of refreshing, one last thing from your shared screen. Can you pull up the Minnesota reverse retro reverse?
Let's look at let's take a...
But then there's something I would have changed. Like, I like them, but there's one thing I would have changed slightly. And I'll hold it up to the screen so we can kind of compare the two.
Yes.
And then we'll probably wrap it up right just after this.
Minnesota Wild.
Reverse retro.
I know there's players on the bottom, but here's the look.
Yeah, so click the one with just like Parise right there. Like the not him wearing it, but just like the purchase one. 2 over.
I think, let me...
Yeah, so for me, I love that the North Stars colors are back. A lot of people make fun of it for looking like Subway. The one thing I would have changed,
I never thought of it like that.
it's gonna be reverse on here for us. But I think for me, this jersey would have been amazing if maybe put that on the shoulders, the normal logo, and bring back that logo on the front.
Looks like the Minnesota Wild third.
That's the old third jersey. Like, it's not theirs anymore. So I would say maybe put that logo where it's like the shooting star, which is even more play on words on the old North Stars. Or with that concept right here. See this M? Or even put that on the front with the new reverse retro colors. Like the big M right below it. Yeah.
Maybe have the like the bear or whatever that's supposed to be on the shoulders too.
Yeah, I would say keep that on the shoulders, but maybe even just like, and that could be like your logo, but maybe just like make the jersey where it's like the main logo isn't. I mean, look at the Rangers. Their logo isn't on the front of their jersey. That is like something that I think would be interesting.
Look at this design.
That's funky.
It's a little bit of wonky slush.
Yeah, it's like the cream vintage kind of look.
Yeah, I think
gives me big like Bucks vibes.
I mean, they are. You
it's
know,
just straight up log
Minnesota.
Wait, Milwaukee.
But
is,
I mean, I do like their homes right here.
Milwaukee's Wisconsin.
Like the normals, but the new North Stars colors are just sick.
It's like Great Lakes area. I think I'm thinking.
Yeah, because the Bucks have the cream, like the Cream City.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah, I'm stupid. We get a Vitor.
well, yeah, I would like to see like what teams might do. I mean, I'm happy the reverse retros are here. We're all excited for that with the opportunities for like different looks on the ice for sure. Which
Who is not? I'm pretty sure the only team that hasn't worn them or one of them is Dallas.
No, I've seen them.
They won them once.
They won them once? All right.
Yeah, then they got shot on.
When was that? Was that recently?
I think it was early in the year.
As soon as fans were allowed in the stands in Texas, they were like, nah.
They've been using the black with the neon green a lot more, which is, I actually kind of dig it. I wouldn't buy it, but I think it's kind of cool to see on the ice. A lot of people hate it, but
I do like the green jerseys, like the solid green that they usually wear.
I think the Kings need to bring back purple as their main colors.
Yeah.
And like for me, like I don't mind their current logo, like the let's call it home plate look with like the letters LA and then the crown in the middle. If you have that logo with like the purple, white, and gold, like have it mainly like.
Well, it's better than like
design.
the King they had. Remember that one?
The Burger King?
Yeah. No, the like. What was it? What they had like a sash going across.
Everyone called that the Burger King jersey. Yeah, that was like their third jersey. It was rough. Or if they even just bring back like the classic crown that they used to have, that'd be cool too.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the 80s, 90s Gretzky era jerseys.
Oh yeah.
How like they're using that for the reverse retro, but I think if they keep the current logo they have, but just put purple, white, and gold for the colors, I think that'd give a nice flair. Because like, sure, black, silver, and white are regal looking, but like we need a purple jersey as a mainstay again. And so I think we'll see what happens.
I'm pretty sure purple is a royal color.
Yeah,
technically.
it is. So
not to alarm you guys, but TD Garden is doing a reverse retro giveaway. You just have to like the post, tag your friends, and follow TD Garden on Instagram.
Really?
All right, Vitor, tag us.
Oh, I will.
Immediately.
All right. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up while we get busy with trying to win our things here. Again, by the time this video has been posted, the other one will be well completed, and hopefully you enjoyed that one at that point in time too. But for now, we'll try and get this one to you. I'm not going to make any concrete promises. Big midterm exam this week.
Can we get a good luck Chris Ferrante in the chat?
Just March is crazy for all of us, as we've said before, as college students and stuff. And so hopefully by the time we record, which is on Tuesdays, hopefully by like early next week, the latest will be when this video is out and stuff. But for now, that's all from us. Signing off here, I'm Chris Ferrante.
I'm Stat Guy.
I am old-time hockey guy.
And with that, we hope you enjoy whatever time of day it is that you complete this video. And thanks for watching. And tune in next time. Take care.
Woo.